Welcome back everyone. We're finishing the first round of Spoils of Vaul June tournament with a very common mistake by new players. No worries though. But yeah, this is Vozaac Adeptus Aroritas duking it out with Legion Tau. A new player in our tournament, and I believe in Gladius in general. Let's see how he does. Hopefully Gladius will welcome him with open arms, but playing against Tau, from my own experience, this can be very infuriating. Let's check the spawns meanwhile, and Legion still have not settled. Yeah, very common technical issues, and it's kinda my fault for both not explaining it better and not checking before the game. Yeah, looks like Tau will be opening on Ruins, and I suspect we might see a book first, just like Exorcist did in last tournament games. But the main reason why Tau can do this is because they can just buy units with influence in the early game, and most Crude Hounds and Spit Stingwings are pretty nice units for earlier tiers. So the ability to buy units acts as an extra barrack, and so they can like afford to skip one of the production buildings early in favor of the resource one, which is most usually a research one for faster expansion and faster tech progression. Because as we have seen in Exorcist games, and we might see this in this game as well, Tau are all about getting those hammerheads and skyrays and then just torturing you with them, trying to squeeze value out of you every 5 turns. Alright, looks like Vozaac is back, and he drops his main on Research Outpost as well. By the way, have not used this thing at all. Which suggests he might be a bit new to the mod. But anyhow, he can still settle this Grog's Pasture, although without one tile. For Requisition will still be nice, and this looks like he will be opening up with a barrack. It looks like Tau will be opening up with a barrack as well. Very interesting. We do have research on their crane, so dropping on research still makes sense. In fact, the tile is so nice with energy ore and research bonus that this headquarters gives some fun resources It is also a brush, so 10% food on top. Very nice. Meanwhile, we can see that sister's build is apparently Battle Chapel into book, clearing the tile and only then acquiring the next one is a bit wonky. We'll see, might still rethink his actions. Obviously you kinda want your book on a research tile, and you also do not want it to waste your production tile. Some annoying neutrals. Yeah, Vespids are very annoying for those 8 armor factions, like Space Marines, Sisters of Battle. To an extent even to Chaos Space Marines with their starting Space Marine, because those guys have 4 armor penetration, which makes them very efficient at dealing damage to those squads. But yeah, let's see, both players are opening with a barrack. The book is still nice to get that expansion, of course. Did take Priory. But we kinda wish that the book went on a proper tile, of course. Meanwhile, Tau are doing barrack into armory, which is a pretty normal build. Doesn't have influence. Which suggests he spent it. Which means he, especially when we see tier 2 tech on turn 10, this just means he tagged research buy and bought research instead of buying units. That one explains early production. And let's see if he will add the book later, like after Arsenal, do book and then builder drone. Right, if we look at artifacts, this is a bit different from the previous game. We have again one artifact in the middle, but then there are 2 artifacts on this side and 2 on this. This one in particular being right in this corner, kinda hard to get. But this one is on a sub side and I feel like can be captured and held pretty safely. Fun place with 3 ore outposts on top of each other. But not a lot of requisition outposts in this direction. Legion takes out an enslaver, does it with the gun drone to allow his fire warrior to regenerate hit points. A very cute optimization. This is, of course, doesn't look particularly necessary. And we'll see if he will swap to building something on that cleared tile. Does use the Eternal Crusade, as we have noticed it from the counter jumping to 4 from 5 during the turn. But yeah, it still captures a tile instead of building here, which means clearing the tile was a bit of a waste. And Tau are going for a second barrack this early, which is kinda interesting, but also kinda scary. What can they be planning with it? Maybe some Krutex units. Yeah, some Krutex will be nice, but still it is kinda scary against sisters. They might be a bit weak early, but once they get dominions out, infantry is just hard to use against them. That looks like an energy building in the queue. Before capturing another tile. Sister superior tech. Very rarely seen. But it is actually a bonus moral for sub-units, for sub-infantry, which is kinda nice. I wonder if it makes reducing their moral cost more for Tau. Kinda genius if it does, but sadly loses a battle sister here. Well, mind you, I already lost one of their garden squad to dogs very early on and still managed to take over the whole map. I would even dare say almost won that game. So losing a unit, while not particularly great, might not be the end of the game. And Tau are finally expanding after making 2 barracks and an arsenal. To be honest, a very nice build. A lot of units early. On a faction that already can get a lot of units just by buying them. And again, against factions like Sobs and Space Marines, you kinda want to buy all the Vespids you can. By the way, he did cancel one of the tiles. Let's see if that will be in time to start producing Hospitaller. We'll have to see move next turn because this is getting a bit too close, and in case of Tau you can suddenly travel through the whole screen with that Piranha and the drone it drops, so have to be cautious. But yeah, looking at the sheer amount of units, some clear advantage. Yeah, a bit annoying that it gives neutrals a chance to act again when you disable sim turns, but the only solution sadly is to play without one from the beginning, and to be completely honest, I am all for it. Not a particular fan of simultaneous turns, especially since it actually screws with neutral's turn order. And this might be another dead sister. We'll see about that. They might actually jump on one of the tower units. We'll have to see. Realistically, there is no reason in building generator early. In fact, you really want to delay your energy building as much as possible in hopes of finding outposts to support your energy upkeep. And he indeed has at least one Prometheum relay pipes nearby. So you can shoot. By the way, you can check if you will be able to shoot or not by just holding the right mouse button. There will be an attack command rim around the targets you can shoot at. Very useful in situations like this. But of course, at this rate, we might run into Tower Fire Warriors blob and get gun droned. Looks like Legion needs a pause. But yeah, looks like we already have Hospitallers, and with the production bonus it will take us 4 turns to get one out. Doesn't use rally points. Yeah, sadly, like the only, I would say, good place for an expansion is this Grox. Maybe this tile. This tile would be nice as well, but it kinda leaves you without. Well, it gives you just enough tiles for your buildings, so I guess works as well. You will just be hard stuck on 6 population in that city. Could maybe bump it to 7 with the barrack, but also you kinda need to disable the crane eventually. And other than that, I guess we will have to go on this fermentation pool for our third, if we even get the chance. So a bit unlucky with the spawn for sobs. But might not really matter. I almost forgot to pause the timer, my bad. Yeah, that was kind of funny. Almost missing that pause. Well, it looks like he's back. He'll see his piranha on the way to expansion. Oh, this is raw. This is an ore field. So looks like a prime real estate for an expansion. There's actually another ore field. 1, 2, 3, and he can actually settle here. That would be a very nice expansion as well. Well, at this point, requisition building makes sense, especially if we want to place 2 more cities. And it looks like we forgot to press Eternal Crusade here, which means our hospitallers are slowed down by 1 turn. A bit annoying, I would say. is a lot of fire warriors, and he even drives a piranha here to get that experience. Some hardcore optimization here. I guess he picked up requisition. It was around 100 previously. Still no rally points. Does use Eternal Crusade this turn. Let's see where he's going to expand to. It is actually quite important to set a proper rally point, because with hospitallers and of course the change to range between cities, hospitaller can place a city on the turn she gets out. That is also a very annoying thing to do, like placing a drone to capture a tile, to capture an outpost, and then moving it onto another outpost. Again, outposts spawning in range this close to each other. Is a bit annoying, isn't it? But it also allows you to get cities like this when you have your main on an outpost, and then on the other side you can get bonus from another outpost on your building. It's like an extra value and versatility. But it is also not very consistent. Like sometimes you just get spawns like this where there are 3 or 4 tiles between outposts, and it just becomes that much harder to capture them. Just moves on to the enemy outpost. And it looks like Sisters forgot to use Eternal Crusade again. By the way, I guess Martyr Spirit. Oh wait, it only buffs when the unit dies. But yeah, Sister Superior actually saves them from getting captured by Enslaver when you run into them. So if you ever hear sister players complaining about enslavers capturing their units, just tell them to take Sister Superior. Oh, well, I did see the moral pop up, and I believe it was the moral restoration button, which I guess is why he has not used Eternal Crusade. This is also a very rare one, barely see anyone use it. Because as you can see, you usually restore moral just by killing enemy units. Well, no impy grenades. So might not get nuked outright, by the way, force production building being an arsenal. Will we see another drone like Exorcist does it? Or will we see building? Not sure yet. We captured a production tile for some reason. So kinda feels like it should be another vehicle building. This is also a perfect tile for it, but instead it is going to be an energy one. But makes sense, Tau do need energy for their vehicles and monstrous creatures. And since it's like one of the later tier buy abilities, we are forced to build energy everywhere. If we are planning to to produce those 80 cost vehicles. Let's see where that hospital is going. It kinda feels like it is going to be on a production outpost again. Sadly, in this direction there is really no better place. I might be trying to get that Sororitas Holy Site. Which is kinda cute. Trying to fight off a Poxwalker threat here. See the hospitaler now. And as a matter of fact, he can actually kill her. With 2 warriors and the drone. Maybe even. Maybe won't even need this many warriors. Yeah, but it's definitely unfortunate for some player. And most likely means that this is the end of the game. Let's see, obviously, maybe not, but obviously, but basically you have to give up that artifact and go defend your base, but at this point, even if you do, might be a bit too far gone. If we check the upkeep, as always, the upkeep difference is not completely insane, but the units are out of position, sadly. And all that. Buys the Vesper. Flaunting that massive influence income. Yeah, that is definitely a warm welcome from Tau to our planet Gladius. I guess very nice of them to wait for EMP grenades instead of just bomb rushing your city. And looks like Vozaac realizes that his build order is a little bit wrong. To be fair, if you just go barrack book on a proper tile and then another barrack priory, it would have been nice. The only thing I will say that is really important as sobs is to actually drop your city on a proper requisition tile with like 40% bonus, especially nearby Grox or Orfield, so you can get that 60%. It is very important for their main building, since it provides a lot of requisition, and they even have requisition on their crane. And the thing is, it might not even be that reasonable to siege sub-city, even if the build order is wrong and all that. Because again, the city attack is quite strong. Actually, does not one-shot a Fire Warrior. Maybe due to levels. Let's check on the lower one. Yeah, this one. It is a one shot. So yeah, it makes it very hard to actually siege the city early. But you definitely want to try and catch those hospitalers. Which kinda only possible if you are playing against a newer player, because experienced players, they will try their hardest to just plop the city the moment they get out. Because they get 4 movement with the ability, it's move for cover, they can just run and plop a city immediately. So like there's almost no risk to trying to expand with them in terms of like getting your settler caught. But yeah, now of course this appears to be pretty over, although all drones are on cooldown. All drones are on cooldown. Some cube battle lines. Yeah, you kinda don't wanna deal with it without drones. And he actually has retributors, which means he skipped the minions. Not something we usually see subs do, because the minions hard counter almost all infantry in the game, and especially almost all early game infantry. Yeah, Legion is definitely an experienced player. The only unit that is like in the open gets nuked. That is actually drawn from the previous turn, so. Right, kills 2 more Battle Sisters. And for all intents and purposes, I mean, like, even with that build, if you just keep your Battle Sisters alive, hand behind the city, just rush, use rally points properly and drop an expansion. At the very least, you can definitely defend against this Tau army. Vozaac taps out, understandably so, but yeah, the thing is, the point I was trying to make is that you can definitely try and defend against that army, and it might even be possible, as we have seen. Like, sieging cities is mostly a waste of your resources, but it is definitely hard to get back on the field from this position, and what is especially annoying is that it is extremely unfun and uninteresting to do, because you just have to place your city defensively and just keep producing units and hiding behind your base while watching your opponent trying to farm the map and get more artifacts. And then once you see him taking some artifacts and you have enough units and his grip on your main base is weakened, you can try and get out of it. Take map back, use some better units, etc, etc. But it's just very unfun and like very unfun way to play, and it also requires a lot of discipline. And it can feel like a waste of time for like both sides, even if it is not. So yeah, thank you Vozaac for participating. Hope you did enjoy your first experience with competitive Gladius. Tau are extremely annoying at the worst of times for them, and were even more so annoying when we're winning with all those drones. Hope to see you next time. And of course, congratulations to Legion on advancing to the next round. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next week with some second round games.